This is a follow-up video on pruning weeping Japanese maples. Japanese maples come in a whole range of forms. There are upright forms, there are forms with many different foliage colours, but today we're dealing with pruning the grafted weeping Japanese maples. This is the maple before this round of pruning, and as you can see, the foliage is in its mature colour. And here it is in winter, ready to prune. And we're back with Craig Wilson at Gentiana Nursery, and he's going to walk us through this follow-up video. This is a Acer palmatum dissectum variety.
Yeah, Orangeola.
And how old would this one be?
12 years in the ground, maybe longer. You know how it is. Sometimes when you get older, 12 years could be 20.
That's exactly right. And this one's been pruned a few times.
That's right. Well, it had the radical prune, which is what we're following up from.
Okay.
Yeah.
So why do we prune them?
Well, the dissectum as a group are an aberration. You know, you wouldn't go walking through the Japanese forests and find a dissectum growing. So their growth habit is not the habit of a normal tree. They tend to be congested. They get a lot of crossed branches. And they fill up so that the wood underneath dies. So that if you leave them unpruned, then you have this tangle of crossed branches and dead wood and just live wood on the tips.
Okay, so if we want to make them look as good as they can look, we have to prune them.
It's much better to prune them, that's right. And it is much better to do small amounts regularly than a big one occasionally.
And if we go down to the real basics, because this is grafted.
So the tree's grafted here, and from that graft, look, they vary depending on the variety, but it could come up a metre and a half from that, but it will come out much further.
Now, these two shoots down here?
So these are the tree, Acer palmatum. You know, that's the parent of the, and it's grafted.
So they're the first two.
They come off.
They're the first two that have got to come off.
You're better to break them.
Okay, because that's sort of...
Because you have less chance of getting another bud there if they're damaged rather than if they're neatly cut.
Okay, so all of those, everything below the graft goes.
Yeah, that being the graft. And you'll see immediately because they go straight up.
And then we're looking at pruning.
Yeah.
So what are we looking at taking out?
Superfluous wood, or wood that has the potential in the next few years to die back, or branches from the top that are going to take over these bottom branches.
Okay.
And that would depend entirely on the style that you want, but for me, I want to maintain these branches, and if I don't prune the ones above them, then these will get shaded out and die.
Okay, so let's get into it.
So here, immediately I can see a branch that is going to be dead wood within the next couple of years. It's completely covered by the branches above it. It doesn't really perform any function there at all.
And the time to prune? Winter?
Yeah. You really can prune them any time of the year, but in the winter you can see the structure.
Right, so you're not fighting with the leaves to see what you're doing.
That's right, yeah. And these are the stubs that I left from last time. And what you find if you leave a bit of a stub is that the tree will start to heal underneath it, and then I can just cut back to where you can see the cambium rolling over.
Are there any other stubs on there?
Yeah,
Can we just get in and have a look at that before you do it?
Well, there's probably a more obvious one like that. So I like to leave a little stub for a year or so.
Yep.
And what that means is that the tree dies back at that rather than in here from the cut. And you can see the cambium is starting to roll over there.
Yep.
Yeah. So, and you can see there's bits of live cambium there.
Right. So
it doesn't hurt to damage them at all because it'll just encourage them to roll over more quickly.
Okay, so we take off those, and where do we go to next with this one?
Let's have a look. So you see here, I have a situation where there's 2 branches which are going to fill that roll there, and I'd rather just have one. This one's stronger and it's going in a good direction, so there's a little piece here, see, not going anywhere. Now here, you see we have a branch here that started here and then it's heading back into the tree rather than coming out. So that one will be the branch there, not something that's doing that.
Not something that's looping
across it, yeah, and little pieces.
So you're actually opening it up a little bit by taking out that smaller growth as you go.
And you see this one here, that's going to come up and then it's going to go like that.
Right, yeah,
So
you can see it curling up already.
Yeah, that's right. So I just cut it back to that shoot. There's another one here. But over here was what I wanted to show you. Yeah, so see, we have a situation here. What I like about these dissectum maples is that I can grow them right to the ground.
Yes.
Yeah, and then they can be like a frame that keeps my chooks off bulbs and things. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
So that when they're bare, then I can plant, you know, precious little galanthus or cyclamen or eranthus or that sort of winter flowering bulbs underneath it.
And then they get a bit of protection in the...
And in order to do that, I need these branches, these lower branches.
Yes.
And you see this one here, I'd prefer the branches to be lower than the higher one.
Yes.
So this one has the potential to take over these guys and shade them out completely. So I'm just going to shorten it back a bit. And you see I'll cut to that upward facing bud. Yeah.
Yep.
And the reason I'm doing that is because this is orangeola and its habit is to fall quite sharply. So it'll then come down again. I'll just shorten that off a bit. You see that's given this.
So it's going to let more light in.
That's right, and let it grow rather than be shaded out. And you see here again, I'm cutting to outward branches. But it really doesn't need much because we did such a big job on it. Over here again, I want the lower ones.
And this stub in here?
I'll get the pocket boy. Do you want me to go and get it?
Right, you need something.
A saw.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, we don't.
So you can get a little saw that you can stick in your pocket.
Yep.
Pocket boy. The Japanese ones are the best.
Okay. And
then you just take it off.
Okay. We'll do that later on.
Yeah.
Yep.
Here's another one here. See, it's just congestion, branches like that. And if it does grow, then it's going to congest the branches above it. And here, same thing. So this is really the inside growth. And then here we have an issue, you see, coming back in.
Yes.
And what that's going to do is crowd out this. So it's much better to fill that space with that one. Then this is more congestion. Okay, so I also want to give strength to these ones, which are getting close to the ground, so that's good. I'll take it back a bit. There's a temptation when you're pruning these things to prune them to make them look good now.
Yes.
But what you're really looking for is the future. So if I had cut that piece a bit lower, then by the end of spring, it's going to be over this again.
Yes.
So it's better to cut it a bit harder than what you perhaps think is necessary.
So looking into, well, like most gardeners should, a long-term solution.
Well, yeah, I don't think 2 years is long term. You can see these branches getting weaker. and that's because of they're being covered over. And you know what? If I had the pocket boy, I'd use it, but I think that's better.
Okay, so we'll really open that up so that we're getting light onto these lower branches.
And this is the top part of the tree, with the exception perhaps of azalea, that when you're pruning, the top of the tree is where the strongest growth is.
Yes.
So that's the one that you can prune really hard.
Yep.
And be guaranteed that it'll fill in again. These branches that are lower down, not so much. Here, you see, it's just going to shoot straight over this branch. See that we've got an issue here with this one too. If you see the branch, it's really got nowhere to go.
So that's this one here.
This one here is heading up into all this massive foliage
right,
here.
which is just going to crowd everything out.
It's just got nowhere to go. Yeah.
So that one's gone.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just shorten that back a bit. And then I just have those bits over there to do. This piece here is going to be another job for the pocket boy.
Okay. Well,
Yeah. This is just congestion. Here you see this piece here,
Yep.
and it's coming right down and competing with all the lower ones. And so I'll take it right back. More. And in here we've got some more congestion. This one might go eventually, but perhaps not this prune.
So one of the things is not to go too hard. You need to have the decent amount of foliage and then see perhaps where it's going to go.
Yeah, and look, there's no point in making a big gap in the tree if you don't have to. You know, I can wait for these two branches to grow a bit more, then take it out.
Yes.
And you won't even notice its absence.
Yes.
You see here, so that's going to get fat and sit on top of that, and then it'll rub and you'll get a wound, and yeah, best get rid of it now. I think that's enough.
That's about it.
Yeah, I think so.
We might have a look at the pocket boy because people will be interested in that.
Yeah.
So
this is the pocket boy, and it's not a very good one. You can get much better quality little Japanese ones that actually fit in your pocket.
Right, so it's a fold-up saw that you can carry around.
That's right. For little pruning jobs, it's good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we want to get it in near that cambium.
There we go.
So you come in from both sides. You do one side, and then you come in from that side.
Okay. So we can
stops the bark from splitting.
Yeah, so we can see that there. That's good.
All right.
We will come back in, probably be a month or two, and it'll start to be pushing out, and we'll show it with some foliage on. So this is Acer palmatum orangola. It's just coming back into leaf after it's been pruned. You can see some of the cuts here, and where you've got these little new growths coming on here,
I just rub them off.
and
There's more in here.
back in there.
It is in a way better to break them, because then you can sometimes take out the buds that are next to them and they won't shoot back. Whereas if you use the secateurs, you leave a little stub.
So this is our maple when it's just starting to come back into leaf, and we'll just rub off some of that excess growth that's coming back from the parts that we've pruned away. And now's a great time to consider applying some fertiliser. Any good organic fertiliser is going to do the job. And this is the maple when it's back in full growth, and you can see it's healthy looking and has a much lighter look. So that's it for pruning the Weeping Japanese Maples. Subscribe to the YouTube channel for regular updates on a whole range of garden matters, And as always, good luck with your gardening.